Last spring, a woman named Diane counted her shoes. 64 years old. Nashville, Tennessee. She stood in her closet on a Tuesday morning in her bathrobe and counted 41 pairs. And then she stood there, surrounded by more shoes than most boutiques carry, and felt like she had absolutely nothing to wear. I want to tell you what Diane did next. But first, I need to tell you about the lie. The fashion industry has been telling women over 61 story for decades that comfort and elegance are opposites, that after a certain age, you either suffer in beautiful shoes or you surrender to sensible ones that make you feel like you have disappeared, that the most stylish years of your life are already behind you. French women have never believed a single word of it, and the evidence is on their feet. A French woman over 60 owns 7 pairs of shoes. 7. And in those 7 pairs is a complete philosophy about aging and identity that no one in this country has bothered to teach us. Until today. I am going to show you all 7. Stay through shoe number 4. It is the one American women walk right past, and the one French women say holds an entire wardrobe together. And at the end, I am going to describe a specific type of shoe that is almost certainly sitting in your closet right now. One that French women say is the fastest way to make an outfit look like the effort is over. You are going to want to hear that before you go shoe shopping again. Let's start. Shoe number 1, the structured leather flat. The first shoe is one you think you already know. You do not. Because the version French women wear and the version most American women buy are not the same object. It is the leather flat. But not just any leather flat, a structured leather flat. And the word structured is doing enormous work in that phrase. Here is what happens when most of us go looking for something comfortable and elegant. We find 2 options and 2 options only. There are the paper-thin ballet flats that look beautiful for exactly 1 hour before your arches start sending you desperate messages. And there are the thick, cushioned walking shoes. Supportive, yes, but carrying a message none of us chose to send. The message that says the effort is finished. French women reject both. What they wear instead has a real leather upper that molds to the exact contour of your foot over the first few months of wearing, not by stretching painfully, but by learning the shape of you. A sole firm enough to carry you through a full day without your feet staging a protest by 3 in the afternoon. A silhouette clean enough to disappear beneath tailored trousers, a silk blouse, dark jeans, a midi skirt, and let the person wearing them be the thing the room remembers. The only rule: if it hurts in the store, put it back. Good leather adapts to you. Pain does not improve with more wear. It compounds. The shoe that hurts on the second outing stays in the box after the third. Start with black, then cognac or camel. A warm, neutral flat at the end of your pant leg creates an unbroken visual line from hem to floor that makes your legs look longer. That is not accidental. It is a deliberate trick French women apply across multiple shoes on this list. Watch for it. And before we move on, I want you to hold something as we go through this list. Every single shoe I am about to show you shares one quality, one hidden characteristic that French women understand instinctively and most American women are never told. I am going to name it at shoe 5. By the time I do, you will have already seen it in every shoe that came before, and the whole list will suddenly look different. Keep watching for it. Shoe number 2, the clean minimal sneaker. Before we go further, I need to correct something. Because there is an image of the French woman that has been sold to American women for 40 years, and it is almost entirely a fantasy. You know it. She is gliding through cobblestone streets in kitten heels, silk scarf perfectly draped, looking effortless. It is a beautiful picture. It is also not real. A writer spent 2 weeks in France, Paris, the villages, the countryside, paying attention to exactly one thing: what older French women were actually wearing on their feet. She came back and published her conclusion. She did not see a single woman over 60 in heels. Not in Paris, not anywhere. What she saw everywhere, without exception, was the clean white sneaker. Because French women walk. Every day, everywhere. And somewhere in their 30s, they made a quiet decision that a shoe that destroys your feet by noon is not an elegant shoe. It is a painful one, and no shoe, however beautiful in a photograph, earns the word elegant if wearing it costs you your comfort and your ease. The sneaker French women over 60 wear is not athletic. It carries no large logos, no thick platform, no aggressive sole. It is slim, clean, white, or cream, or a soft neutral, and it is worn with one deliberate intention: to disappear into the outfit so completely that the eye travels upward, toward the face, toward the presence. The shoe does not compete, it serves. The styling move: if the sneaker's color matches the trouser, the leg appears unbroken from hip to floor. The foot vanishes, the leg continues. No heel needed. Same leg lengthening principle as shoe 1. Completely different shoe. Once you see it everywhere. Now hold this as we go to shoe 3. Shoes 1 and 2 both do the exact same thing in completely different forms. They refuse to announce themselves. They serve the wearer instead of competing with her. That pattern is not a coincidence. And at shoe 5, I am going to name exactly what it means. You are already more than halfway there. Shoe number 3, the ankle boot. I want you to think about the last time you pulled on a great pair of ankle boots. Not tall boots, not a stiletto. A low ankle boot, hitting right at or just above the ankle, with a flat sole or a block heel no higher than 1.5 inches. Pointed or almond toe. The kind that creates a clean, deliberate line wherever your pant hem falls. Remember how that felt. Your posture shifted slightly, without you trying. Your step became more deliberate. You walked out of the house feeling something that is hard to name exactly. Settled, maybe. Decided. Like you dressed on purpose today instead of just getting dressed. French women over 60 know that feeling so well that this shoe goes from September through May without them once questioning whether it works with the outfit. It always does. With dark jeans and a cashmere turtleneck on a cold Saturday. With a midi skirt and a blazer for dinner on a Wednesday. With wide-leg trousers and a tucked blouse for a lunch that matters. The ankle boot never asks whether it belongs. It simply belongs. Black first, always. Then a rich cognac brown for the days when the outfit wants something warmer and less structured. One detail almost no shoe guide will tell you: get the side zip. Getting shoes on and off becomes part of the daily experience as we get older. A side zip on an ankle boot saves you 30 seconds every morning and removes zero elegance from the shoe. French women figured this out years ago. Now it is yours. Here is something I want you to notice heading into shoe 4. Shoes 1, 2, and 3 have all done the same quiet thing. They have served the outfit, supported the wearer, and refused to take up more space than needed. Shoe 4 is where that pattern gets its name. And it is the one I promised you in the first minute. Shoe number 4, the slim leather loafer. This is the shoe I mentioned at the start. The one American women walk past. The one French women say holds the entire wardrobe together. And I want to begin with a woman named Carol. Carol is 63, recently retired. She had tried loafers 3 separate times in her adult life. Bought them, worn them twice, given them away. Every time, the same reason. They made her feel boxy. Like she was dressed for a version of herself that had retired along with the career. Like her shoes were carrying an identity she no longer wanted. I hear this from American women constantly. And what I told Carol is this: she was not wrong about the shoe she had been buying. She was buying the wrong shoe entirely. The loafer that fills American shoe stores, wide, stiff, thick-soled, built for the corporate context it was designed for. Yes, that shoe can feel like a costume. It should. It was made for an office, not for a life. The leather loafer French women over 60 own is a different object, slim. Soft leather that flexes when you walk, rather than holding your foot like a grip. A low, clean profile, sometimes with a small horsebit detail or a tassel, sometimes with absolutely nothing, just uninterrupted leather from toe to heel. And it sits in their wardrobe doing a job they describe with 2 words: invisible luxury. The shoe that elevates everything near it without drawing 1 second of attention to itself. Slim leather loafer, dark straight-leg trousers, tucked silk blouse, 1 small gold earring. That outfit is finished. It needs nothing else. It says everything without saying a word. Carol found a slim cognac loafer, soft leather, low profile. She wore it 6 days out of the following 14. She sent me a message that said she had not thought once about whether it went with the outfit. She had simply reached for it. She said that in 40 years of buying shoes, reaching for something without analyzing it first was new. That automatic quality, that ease of reaching, that is what this shoe does when you find the right version of it. If you have written off loafers, I am asking for one more try. Slim profile, soft leather, a neutral, black, cognac, camel, or chocolate brown. Wear it on a Saturday with jeans and a relaxed blazer. I think Carol's Monday morning might start to sound familiar. The next section is where the pattern pays off. I told you at shoe 1, and again at shoe 2, that all 7 shoes on this list share one thing. We are about to name it. Shoe number 5, the flat leather sandal warm Saturday. You are meeting a friend for lunch. Short walk from where you park. You want to look intentional, not overdressed, not like you grabbed the first thing you saw. You open the closet. Most American women at this moment face a choice they have faced 100 times. The sandal that genuinely supports the foot, but doesn't quite read as intentional with the outfit. Or the prettier option that will have your feet sending complaints before the food arrives. French women do not face this choice, not because their feet are built differently, because they resolved it years ago with one decision: a flat leather sandal. Single strap across the toe, or a minimal ankle strap. Genuine leather. No platform, no wedge, no decorative hardware. Just a clean, flat leather sandal in cognac, tan, black. Or, the one that does the most visual work, a nude that nearly disappears against the skin. Same principle as shoe 1 and shoe 2. The foot vanishes, the leg continues, no heel required. A well-made leather sandal moves against your foot when you walk. It drapes slightly, the way good leather does. A synthetic sandal of the same silhouette sits stiffly and tells everyone exactly what it cost. French women made their decision about that trade-off long ago. Now, I told you at shoe 1 that every shoe on this list shares one thing. I told you at shoe 2 you were already more than halfway to seeing it. Here it is. Every shoe on this list refuses to need your attention. The structured flat doesn't ask to be noticed. The sneaker disappears into the outfit. The ankle boot holds the background and lets the confidence lead. The loafer calls itself invisible luxury for a reason. And this sandal does the same thing. It vanishes and lets you be what the outfit is actually about. The fashion industry has spent decades telling women to make a statement with their shoes, to let the footwear do the talking, to choose a shoe that stands out. French women over 60 have been doing the exact opposite. Not because they lack personality, because they have enough of it that nothing on their feet needs to announce it first. That is not a styling rule. That is a statement about who you are. And every shoe left on this list was chosen by that same measure. Shoe number 6, the slingback. There is something I want to say plainly. Something I think many women over 60 have felt, but haven't heard acknowledged directly. Giving up heels is a loss. Not because heels are necessary, but because for most of us, heels were threaded through 40 years of identity. We wore them to the job interview, to the promotion, to the events that marked the years. We wore them when we wanted to feel fully like ourselves. And the morning our feet simply stopped cooperating, the morning it became not a choice but a tax on our body, something was taken without our consent. A piece of how we recognized ourselves in the mirror. French women are not above this. They have felt it. What separates them is the shoe they chose when they felt it. They are not anti-heel. They are anti-suffering. Those are different things. And the shoe they landed on, the one that returns every ounce of feminine elegance a heel ever gave them without asking anything physical in return, is the slingback. One strap behind the heel. A flat sole or the most restrained kitten heel imaginable. A silhouette that reads as unmistakably feminine without requiring anything from your body except to put it on and walk out the door. A slingback in black patent or warm nude suede moves from a Tuesday lunch to a Friday evening dinner without a single compromise. It is having a genuine moment in fashion right now. The major houses are returning to it, street style is full of it, and wearing one in 2026 does not feel like retreating from elegance. It feels like elegance finally caught up to what French women already knew. They own one pair, because one, chosen with real care, is all this shoe needs to be. Shoe number 7, the Mary Jane flat. Every list saves the last position for the safe answer, the expected one, the name everyone nods at and no one thinks about afterward. This is the opposite of that. The 7th shoe French women over 60 own is the Mary Jane flat. One strap across the top of the foot. A rounded or softly squared toe. Flat or nearly flat. Nothing added, nothing removed. The most quietly, persistently feminine shoe in the history of footwear. Here is the thing about the Mary Jane that separates it from every other shoe on a trend list. French women never needed it to make a comeback, because they never put it down. While the fashion world was chasing platform sandals, then combat boots, then square-toed mules, Then whatever the algorithm decided was next, French women over 60 were still reaching, quietly, for the Mary Jane. Not because they were behind the moment. Because they had moved so far past the trend cycle that the cycle had stopped being relevant to them entirely. There is a quality visible in a woman who wears something she chose for herself. Not because a magazine told her it was back, not because the stores were full of it this season, but because it is genuinely and quietly hers. You can see it in how the shoe sits on her foot. You can hear it in how she walks. It is a quality that cannot be purchased with a new pair of anything. It arrives only when you know yourself well enough that the question, "Is this still in style?" stops occurring to you. The Mary Jane flat with slim trousers, effortlessly refined, no explanation needed. With a midi skirt, it could be Paris in 1968, or your neighborhood this Saturday. The distinction has stopped mattering. With wide-leg jeans and a cashmere sweater, it becomes the one quiet detail that makes the whole outfit feel like a decision rather than an assembly. This is the shoe of a woman who has stopped auditing herself against someone else's standards, who has arrived, fully, without apology, at herself. Here is what I promised you at the start. There is a type of shoe almost certainly sitting in your closet right now, maybe more than one, that French women identify as the first thing to go when they edit. And when I describe it, most of you are going to know exactly which ones I mean before I finish the sentence. It is the shoe you bought because it was the most interesting thing in the store that day. The one with the bold color, or the sculptural heel, or the striking detail that made you pick it up. The shoe that stopped you. The shoe you then built an entire outfit around, and wore twice, maybe 3 times, before quietly stopping. French women call this the shoe that needs you more than you need it. And that is precisely why it goes first. A shoe that demands to be the focal point of the outfit requires the rest of your wardrobe to step back and serve it. Your clothes stop being about you and start being about managing the shoe. Your morning becomes a negotiation. And French women made a decision, firmly, in their 40s for most of them, that nothing in their wardrobe would ever require that much maintenance of them. Remember what Shoe 5 taught us. Every shoe on this list refuses to need your attention. The statement shoe is the direct opposite. It needs your attention every single time you put it on. It needs an occasion worthy of it. It needs clothes around it that will not compete. It needs you to perform on its behalf. French women are not willing to perform on behalf of a shoe. And once you feel the difference between wearing a shoe that serves you and managing one that requires you, you will not be willing to either. If you have shoes you orbit around instead of simply reaching for, those are the first to go. Not because they are ugly, because they are expensive. In energy, in time, in morning decisions you do not have to be making. The question French women ask before every purchase. The most common hesitation I hear when women consider investing in a quality shoe, a $200 leather flat, a $180 loafer, is some version of this. I cannot justify spending that much on shoes. I understand the feeling completely, and I want to offer you the calculation. French women run instinctively every time they stand in a store. They do not look at the price on the tag, they calculate the cost per morning. A $250 leather flat, worn 300 times over 5 years, costs 83 cents every morning you put it on. A $40 shoe worn 4 times before it hurts or goes unworn. That shoe costs $10 per morning. You spent less on the tag and paid far more per wearing. More than that, you paid in closet clutter, in drawer space, in the low-grade guilt of things you own and do not use. French women think of this as arithmetic, not aspiration. Before every purchase, they ask one question: how many mornings will I actually reach for this? Not how much does it cost? Not is it beautiful? Not is it on sale? How many mornings will my hand go to this shoe without thinking about it? The way Carol reached for her cognac loafer 6 days out of 14. If the honest answer is not many, the shoe stays in the store, every time, at any price. 7 shoes. Chosen carefully. Worn for years. That is the whole system, and it fits in a single closet shelf. Do you remember Diane? Tuesday morning. Bathrobe. 41 pairs of shoes and nothing to wear. After that Tuesday, Diane spent 3 weeks going through everything she owned. She donated 34 pairs, she kept 7, she bought 2 new ones, a structured leather flat in black and a slim cognac loafer, and brought her total to 9. She told me that the Monday morning after she finished felt different from any morning she could recently remember. Getting dressed was calm. Not exciting, not dramatic, calm. like a decision she had already made, like she knew who she was before she opened the closet, and the closet simply agreed. That is what these 7 shoes are. They are not a trend to follow. They are not a checklist to complete. They are the physical expression of a decision, the same decision French women make, quietly and without announcement, about who they are and what they are willing to let their wardrobe require of them. None of these shoes are trying to make you look younger. Every single one of them is trying to let you look like you. And that, for a woman who has spent 60 or more years becoming someone worth looking like, is a far more interesting goal. Tell me in the comments which of these 7 you already own, and which one landed differently than you expected. I read every comment on this channel, and this is always where the real conversation happens.